photographer, and she's going to have a CD-ROM package available at the end of the tour with 200 high-quality, full-color photographs of all the things we're about to see, and a bunch of things we might not see today. But what's unique is that her CD is in color, and what we're about to see in real life is not necessarily in color. We're going to talk about that while we're down there. Who's wearing red? Anybody? I don't see anybody in red today. Always find out red clothes on the submarine. All right, let's introduce some of the crew here. Coming in through the back gate, we've got Captain Preston. There's a lovely Jasmina Mojica. Standing next to me, the newest member of our crew, Sam Hansen. And driving today, Captain Danielle Bennell. That's right. You should be nice to Captain Danny because it's a long swim home. All right, we're going to talk about some safety equipment on board the vessel. First of all, underneath your bench seat, you'll find a life jacket. And if you see a crew member putting on a life jacket, well, then we recommend you do the same. Put the life jacket over your head. Bring the strap around, flip to the D-ring in front. Pull on the black strap to make it tight. Cross your arms, cross your fingers, over the side you go. We will swim together to this red roofed building where Captain Danny will buy the drinks well into the evening until all of our anxieties have been thoroughly drowned. All right, we have lifeboats on top of this vessel. There's a throw ring on the back. Airline issue life jackets that you'll find in the cabinets that are at your knees. They will open automatically in the event of an emergency. To don this life jacket, put your head through the hole, bring the strap around, put the D-ring, and pull on the yellow tab to make it tight. For the babies, we recommend you put the strap between their legs. Okay, pull the life jacket on. Do not inflate this one inside the submarine. Wait till we get to the top, we'll give the command, pull the red tab. If nothing happens, blow into the red tube to manually inflate your life jacket. Now, inside the sub, we try to keep the air quality at 20.5% oxygen, about 79% nitrogen. No split or anything like that. Those of you in sandals, step over the black flap, avoid it, and you'll be fine. When we move around on the boat, we always hang on with both hands, something, at all times, all right? Remember, safety's in your hands, not your feet. When we go down the ladder into the submarine, we're going to turn around and face the ladder. We're going to go down backwards. It's not a staircase. It is a ladder. Somebody getting a call? Let's see, what else? Please wait for permission from the captain before you board the submarine. Remain seated while we tie up the vessels, and Captain Danny will board you row by row and party by party. Every seat in the sub is a front row seat, so you don't have to worry about where you're going to be sitting. We have dive logs available for sale for $1. If you would like to purchase a dive log, Sam will bring them around. Inside you'll find the story of Atlantis subs and how we build artificial reefs throughout the state. There's a schematic of the sub, a fish ID card, and some information about the history of submarining and our other dive sites. So bring out your dollars, and Sam will be happy to help you with that. Now, last but not least, we're going to talk about the windows of the sub. The acrylic windows in the submarine are 3 1/4 inches thick. And thank you for listening.
this time, it's going to be here on the aft hatch. I'm about to get this aft hatch secure. Before we can do that, we're going to go over life support systems. Now we need to get everything double checked before we start a dive. What's very important that we need to check before we start a dive? How about when we breathe? How about air? You guys hear that? We can check that off. Our air supply is up and working. Somehow we are clear to run our scrubber system. This is going to take care of all that extra carbon dioxide we don't want building up in the cabin. Okay, life support is up and running. I'm going to secure the aft hatch and get our dive started. Mahalo.
The submarine here. First of all, directly over your heads there's a little white sack here. These are called aloha sacks. If you need to say aloha to lunch, then please put it inside that sack. If you put anything in these sacks for any reason whatsoever, they become automatic souvenirs, and you are required to take them off the sub with you when you exit. You cannot give them to me, no sir. Right here above my head is a depth gauge. There's also a depth gauge on the aft bulkhead. Let you know how deep we are at all times. Down here by your knees there is a fish card. I want you to notice on the fish card that there's an eel side and a shark side. And throughout the dive, I'm going to be describing the fish that we're looking at, telling you if it's on the shark side or the eel side and where you'll find it on there. Alright? Now, if you're sitting on this side right here, you are on the port side. For those of you on this side, you're on the starboard side. That's correct. So throughout the dive, I'll let you know what I'm looking at on both sides. When we come to the significant sites like the shipwrecks and things, the submarine will take 2 passes on those shipwrecks and stuff, and both sides will get to see those items equally. Now in the back of the boat, we've got Jasmina, and she's our co-pilot today. She's in charge of music, and she's also helping the captain drive the sub by calling out the distance and depth to the reef so that we don't bump into anything down here. Now, in the front of the sub, we've got Captain Tomo Rogers driving today, and he's going to use an underwater telephone to check in with the surface crew. And this underwater telephone is just exactly like 2 tin cans tied together with a string. In this case, the string is the ocean. So let's check in with Captain Tomo and see what he's got to say.
Hey guys, welcome on board. This is your captain speaking. I always wanted to say that. Anyway, we're going to call the underwater telephone to the surface and see if they talk back to us. Atlanta service, Atlanta 7 comms, check underwater telephone.
Atlanta 7, we have you loud and clear.
Likewise, our ballast set and vents are shut.
Well, that sounds fabulous. Roger, vents secure. You have a great dive.
Coral is where the coral is growing vigorously. The lobe coral looks kind of like lumpy mashed potatoes. Sort of has a greenish hue to it. Finger coral and lobe coral are the most common corals that we see. We're also going to see cauliflower coral and wire coral. We'll probably see some plate coral. In fact, those of you in the back are looking at plate coral on the starboard side right now. Okay, right in front of us, starboard side, I see 2 enormous butterfly fish. These are known as blind butterflies. And they're not on your card, and we don't see them every trip. So that's pretty special right there. Blind butterflies get as big as dinner plates. They are the largest of the butterfly fish family. That's a pretty good start, actually.
它叫做 butterfly 蝴蝶鱼，哇，这里有好多哦，这里边。
There are different kinds of fish that do all kinds of things in the sand. Some looking down at a fish with a bright yellow tail, sort of a reddish purpley fish. That's called a yellow-tailed chorus. Yellow-tailed chorus is on your card right in the middle of the eel side. Eel side dead center, yellow-tailed chorus. How's everybody doing? We're down here at 75 feet already, huh? there is a photosynthetic algae that grows inside the skin of a coral polyp, and that's known as zooxanthellae. The zooxanthellae is photosynthetic, it creates oxygen and nutrients, and it gives that back to the coral. So the coral gives a safe place for the zooxanthellae to live. The zooxanthellae gives the coral nutrients, and together we call that a symbiosis. One would not be able to live without the other.
We get it.
Together these two organisms secrete calcium carbonate, or what we call limestone, and that is the foundation of this entire coral reef ecosystem. Now starboard side is looking at a black fish with a white tail. That's known as a pink-tailed triggerfish. Why do we call a fish with a white tail a pink-tailed triggerfish? Well, if you take that fish to the surface, you would find that its tail is edges where the coral is growing. Now I also see some black fish that look like watermelon seeds with tails. These are called lavender tangs. These lavender tangs, when you take them to the surface, are a bright purple color, but down here at 75 feet they look black. Starboard side, I see a bunch of yellow tangs out there, and I see a very small brown colored fish. Those are called chocolate dipped damsels. Chocolate dipped damsels are the Napoleon of the reef. They lay their eggs in the reef and they protect their nests very aggressively. And when you're scuba diving and you come upon a nest of chocolate dipped damsels, they'll actually swim out and attack you in an effort to get you to go away. They have no idea that they're only an inch long and weigh about a quarter of an ounce. Two predators right now. Those are called bluefin trevallies. They look mean. You got that right. I see lots of ta'ape and silver dollar damsels on that little spot called the nursery. Down near the bottom. If we're lucky, we might see an eel out here. Well, if we're going to see a shark on this tour, most likely we'll see him when we get over by the other shipwreck that we're going to see. So we're looking at all kinds of fish now. Holy moly, ta'ape, and I see those lavender tangs everywhere. I also see silver dollar damsels. I see thousands of ta'ape here though. Look at them all. If you look down close to the reef, there's a little grayish red fish with really big eyes. Those are called menpachi. And I also see a large fish with yellow fins. Those are called eye-striped surgeonfish. Now there's a yellow and black fish called a Moorish idol that has a pennant for a dorsal fin.
Wow.
These Moorish idols were made famous in the movie Finding Nemo.
Oh, right.
Remember?
Right.
Moorish idol was named Gil, and he was the leader of all the fish in the dental aquarium. Did anybody see Finding Nemo?
Yeah.
Did anybody see Finding Nemo way too many times? Oh, you ain't seen nothing yet. We start slow. We're gonna spin the sub around now and take another pass so that the port side gets a look at that, close-up look at that oasis.
哎，它底下在冒热气，不知为什么冒气。
No, this is natural. Most of everything that you see in Kailua Bay here is all natural reef. We're going to see some shipwrecks with coral growing on it inside of its skin layer. So the coral is an animal and a plant together. All right? And what it secretes is limestone or calcium carbonate. So the foundation of the entire coral reef ecosystem is the leftover exoskeleton of the coral polyp. The only place where the coral reef is alive is on the very edges and the very tips where it's currently growing. Everything underneath that is from years and years and years ago, years of accumulation. Coral grows at the rate of about 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch per year. It's extremely slow growing. So we're looking down at literally thousands of years of growth here. You have to remember that in the last 14 to 18,000 years that sea level has risen by 400 feet. Okay, so this was all dry land just 20,000 years ago. Looking up out of the coral. Well, that eel's nickname is Elvis. Oh, there he is. There's 2 eels that live out here on the oasis, and their nicknames are Elvis and Priscilla. See down near the sand those goatfish down there that are digging around looking for food. I'm sorry, I didn't have my PA on. It's called an eye-striped surgeonfish or a polani. We're 100 feet down, folks. What do you think of that? Tell you what. Now we're going to travel across this sandy area again, and we're going to go up into some shallower water and go back towards that reef where we started. Now the Hawaiian Islands have only been around for... Another school of chocolate-dipped damsels on the starboard and another yellow-tailed chorus on the starboard. Port side I see a parrotfish now, sort of a bluish-greenish fish.
那底下这个长的是不是海参？长的，这个有点不太像。刚才那个身上有毛刺。
Ornate butterfly out there about 30 feet away.
Way out there. See it?
Oh yeah.
Can't see it too clearly.
Yeah, it's way it's way over there.
30 feet.
Oh, is that mini? How big that is?
Oh, here we go. I see millet seed butterflies now. These are yellow fish with black spots near their tails. Millet seed butterfly fish are another example of an endemic fish to the Hawaiian Islands. That means that this fish is found nowhere else on planet Earth except here in Hawaii. That's a bluefin javali right there. That is the apex predator here on the reef, and we're going to see more of those as the tour goes. They're a predator, yeah. In fact, these bluefin javalis will hide underneath the submarine because the bottom of the sub is blue. And then they'll come darting out into those schools of goatfish and ta'ape, and we'll actually see them get a feel. And it's pretty It's pretty graphic. They are fast, so fast that you cannot track them with your eyes.
Wow.
This boat is known as the Predator.
原来是一个船。
1995. There was a storm in Kona. Wind and waves were coming over the bow. The bilge pumps were working overtime. And eventually the batteries died. The boat pulled up like a big old
是电
bathtub.
影里面讲的。渔船。
That skeleton that you see there is the complaint department for Atlantic Suns. We've only ever had one complaint.
Oh yeah.
But we get them before they get to TripAdvisor.
哇，一个骨头在上面，一人骨，一人
Look at that.
人骨，
Yeah, there's a trevally shooting up away from the sub now.
人骨架在上面。
We're gonna turn the sub around now and let the starboard side get a good close-up look at
It's
that
a troop
boat.
carrier like they get on a beach landing.
As we turn the sub around, Captain coral grows by just looking at this boat. Oh, there's a spiny sea urchin right there. In Hawaiian, we call that fauna. Yeah, that black spiny sea urchin, when you're snorkeling, that's the best reason of all not to stand up on the reef. First of all, the reef is razor sharp, so if you stand up on the reef, there's a good chance you're going to cut your foot. The second problem is you might step on one of those fauna. And man, if you do that, it's going to ruin your whole entire vacation. Those spines are razor sharp, and when they stick into your feet, they break off. And then when you go to pick them out, they're not like slivers, because they're very fragile and delicate, so they just keep breaking. And whatever's inside stays inside. And you'll know if that ever happens, so don't stand up on the reef, boys
有
Oh,
点
and
让
girls.
人感到很奇怪。
什么？
You just, the doctor doesn't have anything to give you either. You grin and bear it for about 4 or 5 days. And then they just... All right. Oh my God, a mermaid. Hey folks, how about a big round of applause for Captain Tom O'Rod?
Thank you very much. My first time back after the incident.
There's a small extra charge for the dolphin show. You can settle up at the office.
对吧？